Hey there guys, welcome back to another awesome video. And today's movie review is going to be of A Quiet Place Day 1. So A Quiet Place Day 1 is the prequel to the two A Quiet Place movies that exist that star John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. This time we have lupitanyongo and Josephquinn. They meet together. They are surviving the start of the invasion. So this movie is directed by Michael Saranoski, if I'm pronouncing that right. This time around it's not Krasinski, because John Krasinski technically did produce this movie, but he didn't fully direct this movie, which kind of makes sense. Other projects that Krasinski's been working on, which well said and well respected. And honestly, I'm not too sure where everyone lies on this movie, but I gotta say this was a pretty good movie, and this is gonna be crazy to a lot of you, but I have not seen the other two Quiet Place movies. Technically, I've seen bits of the first movie, but I haven't fully sat down and watched the entirety of the movie, nor have I seen the sequel. So I'm not unaware of this universe, but I am aware of this universe. Like, I know, for example, these creatures that you see in the movies in this franchise are aliens. They're technically like these monstrous alien creatures that follow sound, and that's why it's very emphasized that a lot of the characters, whether deaf or not deaf, have to be very quiet, because even the most tiny bit of sound will have these creatures react, and you're dead, you're donezo. That's why I think, in a weird way, it's almost like perfect casting that Lupita Nyong'o's in this movie. And say what you will, Lupita Nyong'o is basically playing herself, but I think she does a really great job with showing expressions and emotions, emulating that. I think she is one of the many actors, or very few actors, that express emotions and reactions without having to speak, and I think that's perfect, because she can show the most excitement in her smile with her wide eyes, and the next moment show fear in her face. As much as she's really good in this movie, I gotta give it to Josephquinn. I just want to give him so much more credit. I think he kind of stands out a little bit more. I think the relationship is really sweet, but I gotta give him more credit because he's not doing the Stranger Things thing, essentially, and I give him mad props because him and probably a bunch of other actors associated with that show are so used to just seeing them for that character that they're branching out, and he's branched out to do other stuff. I'm really glad that he gets to also join the MCU. And there's also people like, not really a big highlight, but I love Dejan. I love when I see this guy in movies. Whenever he's in a movie, there's something really cool about him just appearing and stuff. Such a presence and has such a voice. He's just so cool. Maybe it's a good thing that I'm reviewing this, because I technically don't really have a lot to compare off of with the predecessors before this movie. So this is maybe like a fresh take, and maybe when I go and watch the other two, this one was probably this side of this one or whatever. I don't know. Point is, I feel like so far from what I've heard with these movies, this, I guess, trilogy, if you will, it's been a pretty great trilogy. From the first movie, part 2, and now Day 1, they've all been really good movies, each one. Like, there's not been a lesser of the three, if you will, to my knowledge, but hey, we'll see when we get across the other two. So is it just me, or does 2024 have a thing with cats? The only thing I can really think of is maybe minor, small, teeny weeny little nitpicks. I am very I might be stupid, maybe I might have missed something, maybe I didn't pay attention to something, but for whatever reason, there are times it feels like Lupita Nyong'o is deaf, but then there's times that she's not deaf, because there's moments where they're doing sign language, but yet at the same time they whisper to each other, which makes no sense to me. And you can say that, or ask, what is the point of this movie existing? Why do this prequel for, when we already know the end result and it's not going to really give a lot of answers? Because I feel like at first I originally was thinking it would be interesting to kind of see where these creatures came from and why they are attracted to sound, but I think this is one of those like less is more situations where I didn't get those answers, and I'm glad that I kind of thought about that as like a second thought. I was thinking about that, and then I said, you know what, maybe it's better that way, because it keeps that ambiguousness of where these creatures and why it is their fixation on sound. Why sound? Maybe the other movies solve that answer for me, but I just think that would have been interesting, and this is kind of fitting, and I think this exists to kind of show like the calm before the storm. Also, I think this is a prequel that really works, because a lot of prequels, you have characters that are introduced into the series and they're never really introduced or never mentioned again in the other films or in the future films or in the later films, because they did those films and then they did the prequels, and then you have like this, not retcon thing, but you have this thing where the characters from the prequels are not to be mentioned or they're dead at this point. With this movie, I feel like that kind of gets justified because you know that these characters are going to die, or you know that these people are not going to make it at some point or another. And so I think that kind of, this being a prequel definitely amplifies benefits. So I am going to give A Quiet Place Day One, I'm going to give it a B. So A Quiet Place Day One, have you guys seen it? What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments section down below. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please smash the like button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do awesome videos every day, if not every week. Make sure you ring that bell. I do new videos every day, if not every week. Share the video with family and friends, all the good stuff and more. Leave suggestions down in the comments. You name it, I'll look to do it as best as possible. Check out my previous reviews I've done so far within this year's annual Halloween month and October month, and then there'll be more to look forward to, and I'm gonna start kind of like getting back into the pace of things and into the swing of things now that literally the calm of the storm has now ended. So anyways guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.